Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today I'm going to be doing my June planner flip through. So this video, of course, is very late compared to when I usually post it. Mid-month is better than no month, I guess, is the way I would kind of take it. But it has been a great summer for me and my kids, and just like I said in one of my previous videos, I am taking off for the summer to focus on my family and focus on work, and that has been going so wonderfully. I think I might have to start giving myself the leeway to take more breaks, just because it helps me to focus on other things and not feel like I'm on this journey to always record videos. So anyway, this video is late because of that, just because I'm prioritizing other things. I did want to go ahead and flip through my June planner lineup and show you all of the after the pen. I will keep it very simple and short, just because, to be honest, I didn't really plan in June in my planners. So I've got two planners here. Oh, before I jump into them, I will say that there are several planners that I don't flip through in this video. I have a whole series of home binders. This is an example of one of them. This is my Disney binder. I have several other binders that are like this, set up for other things, medical, financial, like a family planner, things like that. I didn't use most of the other home binders in June, and so this is the only one that I had any pages completed in June, and so I will flip through this one, but the remainder of the home binders I will not flip through. I also don't flip through my two girls memory books, just because I've got to make a decision on whether I'm giving up on that or not, because I have not done, now at this point, almost 3 years worth of memories for my girls, and so I'm very delayed on that project. And then I did, in one of my previous videos, talk about my faith journal, and like whether it's a planner or a journal is kind of like up for debate. I consider it now more so a journal, and so if you want to see that, I will do a separate flip through of my faith journal and like the pages that I'm doing there. But for this video, because this tends to lean more towards the functional side of things, I'm only going to be flipping through the planner pages that I used in June. And so what I've got here is my FRANKENPLANNER. Again, I didn't really use it, so I'll show you what I've got. I am also going to be inserting in this video several screenshots, so that way you can kind of see what I did end up spending the majority of my time using in June. I've got, like I said, one home binder. This one is my Disney one. I did have some pages in here for planning a trip that we had in July. We just actually came back from it, so I'll show you those pages from June. And then I did try to at least use my budget book, and so I'm going to flip through basically all of these things. I'm going to go ahead and start with this one just because it's at the top, and I'll zoom in so it's not quite so small. Zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so this is a micro size. If you're familiar with the Happy Planner is like 3x4 in size, 3x4, like a pocket card. And so this book has been so cute. I loved using it for budget planning. For May, I did very little. I think I stopped right around May 5th. Right, so I had all of these pages. And so in June, I was saying I needed to come back in here and try to use them. And so you will see that I did not do a great job. So I wrote some notes, and then you can see blank, 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 and that is June 30th, that's blank. And then I did try to come back in here starting in July to get started again. But yeah, so you can, I think since the theme here, I pretty much was in my paper planners for about the first week of June. So that's there. I'm gonna do my Disney planner at the end. So let's zoom back out and I'll show you the other portion of my planning for June. All right, so this is my FRANKENPLANNER. I do have several planners in here, and so I'll flip through this so that way you can see it. I'm not, at this point I've like made it through half the year, so now I'm considering whether I want to switch it up. I was talking at one point about like switching up the covers and the discs, but maybe not. Maybe I'll be able to make it through the entire year with just the silver and the purple. So the beginning section, the first section here is annual, and so these are all like all the pages that just kind of go from month to month in my FRANKENPLANNER. I've got a sticky note dashboard, there's some washi dots, a stencil, my holiday stickers that I use for my monthly in there, and then I have a couple of pages from other home binders that I actually just need to move out. I flipped through that, I believe, in like May, and I just haven't taken them out yet. None of these pages were used in June. So I'll pause here and just say that at this point, like right here, my Disney pages were actually in here in June. And then because June ended, I was trying to break down this planner. And so I moved the Disney pages out of here. They were kind of like right here before the second tab. And I moved them into the home binder. But for the month of June, when I was actively working on those pages, they were in here. So again, like there's really nothing in this first section except just notes that I carry from month to month, and there are several sections that I need to go ahead and clean out and put into the home binder, whichever home binder they belong to. So the second section is catch-all. So this is my personal planner. So in this section, I use a combination of two planners. There is a monthly layout from the Happy Planner, as well as daily pages from Tool that I've cut down to letters, cut down from letter size to classic, and it's a daily on 2 pages, and so you'll see that. At the beginning here are all of the old monthly task list. Let me see if I can show you one. Right, so these are like old tasks. I can't remember which month this is for. Probably May or April. These are just all of the tasks that I've written, but it's basically just like pen to paper here. And I'm wondering where my June monthly is. All right, so I should have a June monthly in here. I've misplaced it. Let me try to find it. Okay, so I know where generally the pages are, but I cannot get to them at this point. I have a giant closet full of just like old paperwork, new paperwork, just all the paperwork that I've just shoved into a closet, and I call it my planner closet. It's kind of like a hot mess right now, and I can't get to the June pages. I'm assuming they're in there, like 98% sure they're in there, but I do have a monthly layout that I have not been able to find, but it looks kind of like this. The theme that I went for in June was actually Sweet Kawaii design, because I ended up not using the Sweet Kawaii design stickers anywhere else. I used them in June for my monthly layout, and then I had the June, see this is for May right here. So then for June, there's a page right after the monthly layout that is like the back half of the calendar. It goes here, and then this page, and I don't use those pages at all. And then here for June, you can see it's completely empty. So the only thing missing here is the divider with the first half of the month, that second page that has the second half of the month, and then this page right here. And then these are completely blank. Oh, I really wish I could find it. I know, almost positive it's in that closet, but I just can't get to it. It's been a busy summer, you guys. So I did actually use my monthly though. One of the things that I did was during June, I had it posted in like basically our family command center on 2 clipboards. So I had one side of the monthly on one clipboard, and the second side was on the second clipboard, and those 2 clipboards were just kind of hanging up on the wall. And so I would just mark things as they were completed, or like write things in as needed. So I didn't use them. Yeah, so I wish I could find them. Okay, so I felt like I had to try to find it, and I did. It was in that closet, like I said. So let me go ahead and put this in here so we can take a look at what it looks like. So prior to this are all of my old notes from the old like months, so January through May. And then this is the monthly layout planner. All right, and this is what it looked like. And so it's just basically tracking all of the events, and that's pretty much it. I thought it looked really cute. And again, right here, these pages right here, I didn't use for anything. One thing that I did try to do, and this was a video on my channel, was put together this summer schedule. Ended up right after making this video where my mom decided to change her schedule, and so this didn't actually apply at all for May or June or any of the summer, but I thought that page was cute, so of course I'm going to keep it in here. I might eventually move it to like a home binder page, or like a home binder as like a reference for how our summer looked like. It will probably go into like the family calendar. So then, like I said, in June, these are all blank, right? But these pages, if they were not blank, they would be the pages that are like carried over from month to month. And so what I do with these pages is essentially take pending tasks from my daily planner, and if there are tasks that are not completed that day, I write them here. And so you can see I didn't write anything in June. I do have pending tasks, I just didn't write it down, just because theme again is I didn't use my planners, my paper planners in June. So that's what the monthly planner looked like. Essentially, I used this. That was pretty much it. Right. Then, like I mentioned, the second half of my catch-all personal planner is daily pages. And so this is a daily on two pages. It is by Tool, T-U-L. It started off life as a letter size, and the top part here had like dates. And so I cut that part off because it was an outdated planner from like 2020. Cut that all off, and then I just trimmed it down the margins so that way it would fit the 7 by 9.25 size of the Happy Planner. And so that essentially made it undated. On this side, there's a daily schedule from 6:30 until 10:30, so 11 o'clock at night. And then I created these labels just to kind of put up here to mark the days. And so it's a day on 2 pages, like I said. And to this side, I track events. Sometimes I'll have to-do lists here, but my to-do list ended up right here. And then I was trying to track my food in here as well, just to try to simplify. And so this is what that looked like. And then here is June the 2nd. All right, this is a mix here of like food logging and then like some to-do lists. I just kind of put it together instead of separating them. All right, this is June 3rd. My handwriting is getting worse over time. All right, and then you'll notice June 3rd was the last day that I actually wrote in this planner. I did decorate several pages. June the 5th. And then here's June the 6th. That's what that looks like. All right, and I think June the 7th might be it. Let me see. Nope, I have several more. Okay, so June the 8th. All of these pages, by the way, since they are empty, I've already decorated them. What I do is just over time, I'll just move it to like the back of a planner and just redate it and use it at some point. So they're decorated. I could just pull it out whenever I need to. And so I didn't even like at this point. So this is, let's see, June the 9th was the last day. All right, and then I have all of my stickers here, June 10th and onward, to be able to redate or like to put the date up here. Again, I just printed these myself. These are the washi dots that I was using to kind of mark my to-dos in here. Okay, let's see, June 2nd. Right, so these washi dots right here, and then I have the Sweet Kawaii Design stickers in here that I was using for the monthly, but that's pretty much it. So what I ended up doing, basically starting June the 3rd, I think, right around that time, I ended up just feeling very busy and overwhelmed with, you know, YouTube, with work, things like that. And so I wrote here on the 3rd, and then on the 4th, I basically just gave up. So normally what I would do is just leave it open on my desk, this planner, and I would just go in and every several hours, I would just jot what I've done during the day. And so I ended up feeling so overwhelmed with like the busyness of life that I started tracking in my phone. And the way that I do that is to use Google Calendar. And I just, you know, open it up in Google Calendar. I'll put the date, the start time, and then just make a note, quick note as an event for what it is. And that has been a system that I've used before in the past. And so I really loved it. And I ended up deciding just to leave them in Google Calendar. So instead of taking the notes in Google Calendar and then transferring them over here, which I will do most of the time, I just decided, you know what? Let's not make it a pressure thing, right? And so I just left them in Google Calendar. And so I'm going to post some screenshots of what my several days look like. They're very similar in the sense of like, I mean, it's just a tracking of my, or like a log of what my days look like. And so there's not really anything too fascinating about it really, except that, you know, I just wanted to show you that I am tracking these things. I did that for basically the entire month of June, starting June 4th until June 30th. And so all of the rest of these pages, the decorated pages, they'll be moved to the back of my personal catch-all planner, back here, just like in this section of like pages that I've already decorated but I haven't used, and it just gets reused at some point in the future. So what I'm thinking of doing is actually doing a flip through of my 2025 planner the first 6 months and going ahead and committing to using some of these pages for the second half of 2025. We'll see though. Yeah, we'll see. But that's just kind of my initial thought for how to reuse it, just because my personal planner is getting full with just January through June. So, you know, it's time to clean it out. So I've got this envelope with a pin loop on it just to keep a pin in there with me. The second divider, or sorry, the third divider here, my second planner, is my health log. And so just again to show you, these notes are from May, which I didn't even move out. So let's go to June. June, this is May, right? June, I didn't even move in here, right? So I mentioned this in my June planner lineup video. I decided to simplify. These notes ended up on my, well, it was supposed to end up on my daily page, and you saw that June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Right, the next planner, also one that I decided not to use in June, so I still have May pages in here, but this is my personal growth planner. This tie up right here is for my family planner, and again, I decided not to use this. So there are 3 planners that are there's space for it in here, but I did not use them in June. And then the last one is kind of like a flex space. This one is just notes from April and May for Easter, which again, I need to clean out and move into a home binder, actually a holiday binder. But yeah, that was pretty much it. And so again, most of what I did was on Google Calendar. And so that was my FRANKENPLANNER, and hopefully the screenshots kind of gave you an idea of what my life looked like. I won't scroll through everything on Google Calendar, but you know, at least it gave you a sense. The one planner that I did use quite a bit was my Disney planner. And so this is one where it's set up as a Disney home binder. And so my home binder system are all of these like work plus life covers. And this one was one that I actually updated in June. It's like so full right now. I actually want to try to do maybe a full flip through of this planner so that way I can clean it out. I like to do the flip through and then start cleaning out pages, recycling pages, things like that. But for this video, I'm only flipping through the June pages. So one of the sections in here is my pre-planning pages, like basically the plans for upcoming trips. Not journaling during a trip or anything like that, but just like planning forward for an event. And so in June, I'm gonna try to get to it. I've been trying to recycle pages here. So this is actually, oh, it's probably right here with this tab. Okay, so in June, actually for like most of this year, what I've been doing is using old pages. And so I've got these pages. This one is actually probably not a great example, but this is what the page looks like blank. And then for the 2025 trips, I basically have weighted out all of the dates across the top with this washi. And then I've used this kind of periwinkle color and some country cottage stickers from Planners Anonymous to designate all the 2025 events. And so this is June 1st, which I didn't write in. And so I'm going to show you June 2nd. All right, so again, same washi. These are all the stickers. These stickers right here are from Country Cottage, right? And I used kind of the periwinkle color to mark that that's the 2025 events, right? And this was just, actually it's Country Cottage too, but it's just the brown. And so I used the brown headings here. Now this you can kind of see is Halloween themed because this in a former life was for October. And so again, like, using the washi to get rid of the October dates was very helpful. But like the old notes here are from like 2024, October 2024. This mostly though is like brand new 2025 notes with the exception of this like Halloween washi. All right, then going to the 9th, I do have like these paper clips to kind of separate because I've got like old notes. Now we're shifting away from that kind of like cyanotype page into like kind of more neutral pages. Again, using the washi here, but all of these notes with Country Cottage are from 2025. These Mickey stickers are from 2024 or 2023. This one I added in here just because I was running out of space, right? But all the, again, the periwinkle and all the blue brown color, that is for the current planning. And so let's just flip through it, right? Again, this one was getting a little bit full. There's some spots that are still empty, but it was mostly full. And so I added this one just to take some long form notes. And I just put it on a post-it note and then put it on some vellum, again from Country Cottage, Planners Anonymous. Right, these stickers are old stickers, not from 2025, but from a previous version of it. All right. I try to reuse it, right? But like this page, just as an example, I do have some notes in here, so it's kind of hard to distinguish, I think, but I know that where the new notes are, but like these browns and blues, the periwinkle, not this one, this one. These are all the new notes, but the old notes are in here as well. And then this page, just in general, is now so full that I can get rid of it. Like I would not want to try to use it for another trip, right? Like it's too full, I can't fit any more in it. So again, I think I want to do a separate flip through of this entire thing so that way I can like start cleaning this out. Right, so this is the 29th and then this goes into the 30th. Part of it is July, so you can see that here. And so this really is just the 30th right here. I took some notes here for the 30th, right? And these are all for the 30th. And then for July, because July was right here, Tuesday, I took the notes on basically this sheet and try to carry over the notes here so that way I can get rid of this sheet, but this is still for July. So that's just the way that I do it. And of course I have all of my notes in here for July, ready to go. I mentioned at the beginning, we just took this trip, and so it's time to recycle. I don't like it when my planners gape open like this, and so it's getting chunky. Part of the reason is I purchased the Be Happy box, the new like Disney Adventures. I can't remember the name exactly, but it's the latest Be Happy box that was Disney themed for Disney travel and Disney planning. And so I added those pages in here, and so now it's super full, and so I want to clean that up. So again, probably a separate flip through of just like this entire thing, so that way I can clean that out. So this one I would say is the one that I used the most for paper planning. I was definitely in here in June, just getting ready for July, the July trip that we just took. And so again, that trip is done now, and so I can definitely get rid of those notes and just, you know, make a decision on which pages I want to keep and which one I should recycle. I showed you just like basically the monthly spread and the 3 pages that I wrote in, as well as several pages that I pre-decorated but didn't write in, and so that was that. Several other planners were ones that I had already made the decision not to include in June. And then, of course, we had my budget planner here, my little expense tracker, which had just that 1 week that was decorated and written in, and then the rest of it is just kind of blank, all right? And so these pages, I am the type of person who will recycle these pages, and so because I didn't use them, I will just pull them out once I basically recycle this book and just kind of put them into the lineup for future planning. So yeah, I mean, not a great video in terms of like rating in my planners, but that's what real life looks like for me. When I get very busy, I tend to just want to get the notes down as quickly as possible, try not to be too pretty with it, and so I think that is reflected in the paper version of it. And my notes in Google Calendar are not actually, you know, super like formatted or fancy either, so you know, that's a reflection of my real life. So I do hope you enjoyed this video, and at least, you know, the real life look for what June looked like for me. I apologize for having it come up so late, but you know, like I said, busy life, busy mom. So if you enjoyed it, please do give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments about my planner lineup, please do feel free to drop those in the comments, and I'll answer them as I can. And until the next video, you guys, bye.